Greenpeace is now calling on Europeans to reduce their meat consumption by over 70% because of the greenhouse gas emissions associated with the meat industry. Sini Eraya is an agriculture and forest campaigner with Greenpeace's European unit. She says that Europeans need to change their consumption habits quite quickly.
Well, we are calling for a drastic reduction in our current meat and dairy consumption in general, globally, to control the current climate breakdown and ecological crisis that we're facing. We would need to cut our demand of meat and dairy by half until the year 2050. But to do that fairly, of course, we in Europe, because we're consuming way more than the global average, we would need to cut more. So we're calling for a 70% reduction in our meat and dairy consumption by 2030 and 80% by 2050.
Now, there are, of course, millions of jobs around the world in farming linked to meat consumption. What do you suggest happens to the industry which may otherwise collapse?
Well, we're obviously not talking about a collapse of the agricultural industry. We will still need more than ever healthy food production. And this is actually a key question in the European political debates at the moment as our decision makers are discussing the common agricultural policy. We are really calling on them to make sure that farmers have the support that they need for these massive transitions that we need to make. But we have a lot of public money going into the agriculture and farming sector, and that could be used to support the transition that we need.
What about meat that's produced responsibly and locally? I mean, isn't that better to consume that than, for instance, to buy avocados that have been imported from a long way away?
Well, absolutely. I mean, small amounts of animal products, meat, dairy, eggs, they can play a role in sustainable and healthy diets. It's just the quantities that we are the most concerned about at the moment. We're calling for a largely plant-based diet. Not a full vegan diet across the world, and that can include small quantities of ecologically produced livestock products. But it's really the overall amount of the demand at the moment, particularly here in Europe, that is the problem.